As you can see, this airport is basically just a dry lake bed, or at least it's usually dry. But when it's soft and muddy, it's a classic example of a place where you want to make sure that you use the very best soft field takeoff and landing procedures. Now, the whole point of soft field takeoff and landing techniques is really twofold. First of all, you want to make sure you protect the nose wheel of the airplane. And secondly, you want to make sure that you don't get stuck en route to the takeoff area. Now, the way you do this is plan ahead. Plan your taxi route so you don't have to stop and risk getting stuck. And think through the procedures you're going to use in advance so that when you start the engine and start taxiing, you'll be ready to go.
Clear. I've already checked behind me and there's nothing back there we're going to bother, so I'm going to go ahead and do my pre-takeoff checks here, including the run-up right here. That way I won't have to stop the airplane while I'm taxiing en route and risk getting stuck. Now, as the last item before I taxi the airplane, I'm going to go ahead and set my flaps to 10 degrees, and that way I'll have it all taken care of. So here we are on a soft surface, so I'm going to pull the wheel all the way back. I want to protect that nose wheel and start my taxi out. Now, I'm being careful to keep it moving here. We don't want to get stuck en route to the runway. Keeping enough power on so that we can keep moving even through the muddy spots. And when we make turns, we want to make sure that we make the turns gradually because the turns tend to slow you down. We want to make sure that we don't get stuck here. Ocotillo Wells traffic, this is Cessna 359er Echo Sierra, taxiing onto runway 32 for departure runway 32 at Ocotillo Wells. Okay, keep it moving here now, coming onto the runway. Got the wheel all the way back. Add a little power for the turn. And when I get lined up with the runway, I'm just going to come in with full power with the wheel all the way back. Now notice that nose wheel tends to jump off the runway. That's no problem. That's what we want it to do. So we're going to hold it off the runway in that nose high attitude and let the airplane accelerate on the mains. We're keeping the weight off the main wheels as much as possible. And then when the airplane gets airborne, we're going to let the nose drop slowly as the speed increases and accelerate. Because we want to accelerate in ground effect. We can allow the airplane to accelerate the best angle of climb speed, which is about 60, and we'll continue to climb at best angle of climb speed. Now, after we've cleared all the obstacles, I can slowly raise the flaps and let the airplane accelerate the best rate of climb speed. Now, a soft field landing looks the same on final as a short field landing. In fact, you do everything identical, except when you get just above the runway. In a soft field landing, what we're going to do is transition the airplane very slowly into a slow flight attitude with the nose very high. And what we're trying to do is touch down as softly as we can on the mains in a nose high attitude. We'll protect the nose wheel. During the flare, you might have to add just a little bit of power to get that nose wheel up, and also a little bit of power during the touchdown on the runway because you have more drag there. Let's see how it goes. Now, once again, everything's the same right up until the round down. Okay, now we're right above the runway. Going to transition to a nose high attitude and add a little power to hold it off. And there's my power, holding it off. We're in that nose high attitude. Touch gently on the mains, hold the nose wheel off, and we've done it. And gradually allow the airplane to slow down while holding the nose wheel off. And that's a good soft field landing. Now, you want to keep the airplane moving as you taxi off the runway.
Well, as you've already figured out, learning soft and short field techniques is an awful lot of fun. But beyond that, although you can't go everywhere you want to go, using these techniques opens up a whole world of exciting places you can go that aren't served by an international airport.